Good morning, everybody. Are y'all ready? Well, we are happy to stand together today because collaboration is key to a lot of the success we have seen on public safety numbers this year in Kansas City. I just got a report. We're roughly down 30% in non-fatal shootings in Kansas City this calendar year. We are down 22% from the 5-year average. All of that means that we are making progress in reducing the number of non-fatal shootings that we have in our city, in our community each year. That is a very positive thing, and for that, I commend the women and men of the Kansas City Police Department. It's led by Chief Graves, our Jackson County Prosecutor Melissa Johnson, and all of our community partners, including our other county prosecutors, in making sure that those who shoot at others, those who shoot up in the air, are being prosecuted. But we come together like we do twice per year. And I have done it with different prosecutors, different police chiefs, but we have always had the same message before the 4th of July and before New Year's Eve, which is that there is no such thing as celebratory gunfire, to not shoot up in the air. And I want to thank KCPD and the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office for bringing real charges under Blair's Law. Thank you, Representative Sharp, for making sure that year after year we would fight for this in the Missouri legislature. Some years it was tougher, but you were able to get that done. Getting it across the finish line means that there's justice for folks. And so we just say very simply, put the guns down. Don't take guns to celebrations. Don't take guns to parties. Don't just shoot casually outside your house. It's not cute, you don't look cool, and it is dangerous. Every bullet that goes up comes down. And our police and prosecutors are taking those types of activities very seriously. So for the sake of everyone in our community, including the tragic stories we've heard in the past of victims, young people, folks of all ages, property throughout our community, don't shoot up. Don't shoot during the 4th of July celebrations. I'll also remind you this may not go as far, but shooting off fireworks in city limits is illegal. But I'll just keep it simple as this. Don't shoot your guns. Don't shoot your guns. Don't shoot them in the air. It's not fun. You will be investigated. You will be charged, and you will be prosecuted. So let's make sure we have a safe 4th of July for everyone in Kansas City. Let's give our police a little bit of a break. Let's give our prosecutors a little bit of a break. I don't want to have to see a bunch of charges the day after the 4th of July. Instead, we want good celebrations. I remind you, the city itself funds celebrations throughout the community. There are others around our community, and you can look up all of those. So I thank you to our law enforcement partners, and I will take one brief detour because I know people talk to the chief and I and the prosecutor when there are challenging times. We recognize them, we confront them. Over a week ago, we were confronting challenges at the corner of 35th and Prospect. We've had other discussions. We will continue to take every tool we can, to use every tool we can to make sure our community is safer. If that's business enforcement at City Hall, we'll do it. If it's more prosecutions under Blair's Law, we'll do it. If it's KCPD responding to everything. And let me make this clear on their behalf, because the chief doesn't get to say it enough, but I'll say it for her and everyone in the department. Every crime is a concern and a challenge in Kansas City. There is not a crime that is ignored. No nuisance, no violent, no nothing crime is something that we look past. And so if you call 911, you will get a response. You will get a strong response from the talented women and men of our department. And where charges are due, you will have charges filed by the prosecutors in one of our 4 counties or our municipal prosecutors. So thank you, Chief, for that hard work you all do. And thank you to everyone who's with us today. I introduce our outstanding Jackson County prosecutor. I still call her our new prosecutor, although she probably feels like she's been there for a few years now, but Melissa Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. You know, every now and then our community has the opportunity to prove people wrong. You know the drill. We're heading into 4th of July weekend. The same rings true for Memorial Day weekend if the Chiefs win, etc. We are all bracing for impact. And so before I get into my remarks specific to Blair's Law, you all, please let us have a jovial, celebratory weekend, especially on the tail end of everything that our community has experienced. We have a lot of conversations about holding police accountable, about holding prosecutors accountable, about holding mayor and city council accountable. Now is the time that we hold each other accountable. You all, we can't keep complaining that we don't have anything to do, that we have nowhere to go, if we continue to defile these spaces with senseless, unnecessary violence. And now to Blair's Law. There is no such thing as harmless celebratory gunfire. What goes up comes down with lethal force. These bullets have no name on it, and most of you are not even trained to operate a firearm, so you are incapable of dictating where these bullets go. We have seen real tragedy happen in our community from people recklessly firing in the air at the conclusion and in the name of celebration. Like Mayor Lucas just said, celebratory gunfire and discharging a firearm is now illegal under Blair's law. And my office is committing to using every single tool at our disposal to ensure that we are holding wrongdoers and bad actors accountable. We will prosecute every case of celebratory gunfire to the fullest extent of the law where the evidence allows. We have already charged 23 people under Blair's law since its inaction. And this year alone, we have charged 15 people under Blair's law. And the penalties are severe and they are very, very real. The first offense, up to 1 year in jail and $2,000 in fines. For the second offense, you can face up to 4 years in prison. 3 or more offenses, up to 7 years in prison. And if you injure or kill someone, those consequences become so much more severe. And recently, our community experienced a case of celebratory or reckless gunfire within city limits that illustrates the danger that these acts pose to our community. Over the Juneteenth weekend, a man fired multiple rounds into the air during an active shooting, claiming self-defense and endangering dozens of people during the act. The defendant in this case is now facing a charge of Blair's law, and if convicted, can face up to 1 year in jail. If you choose to fire a weapon recklessly in the air or for any reason, know that we are watching. Know that your neighbors are watching. Know that we are fed up. And to your neighbors, you all, we need your help. We cannot do this alone. When celebratory or reckless gunfire is happening, we need you to preserve your Ring camera footage. We need you to preserve your cell phone camera footage. We need you to call the police every single time, no matter how long you have to wait. Because if you don't call the police, they can't respond, and then we cannot prosecute. We need you. You are the first step to curbing this activity. And with that, I would love to hand over to one of my chiefs of police, Chief Stacy Graves.
Good morning. The 4th of July is a holiday that's obviously widely celebrated in Kansas City amongst the rest of our country. A celebration that does not involve the shooting of firearms. Every year in our city, we have individuals that choose to indiscriminately shoot into the air on the 4th of July. Celebratory gunfire is reckless, it's dangerous behavior that can be fatal. Shooting a gun in the air is not a way to celebrate. What goes up will and must come down. On July 4th, 2011, 11-year-old Blair Shanahan was struck by a bullet from celebratory gunfire. Tragically, the next day, she passed away. Less than a year ago, Blair's law was signed into law. That was in the summer of 2024. After being signed into law, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department has investigated 27 violations of Blair's law. 10 of those cases are still being actively investigated, and 17 individuals who indiscriminately fired shots in the air in our city have been charged in both Jackson County and Clay County. Our officers patrol our city every day to keep people safe from those who do harm, specifically individuals who choose to discharge firearms in our city. KCPD will be out patrolling on Friday, July the 4th, with a keen focus on those who are discharging firearms. You will be arrested and you will be charged. If you witness celebratory gunfire, call 911. Talk to your friends and family and your neighbors about not shooting a firearm in celebration for the 4th of July holiday, or otherwise. Celebratory gunfire is a threat to all of us. Right here, where we're standing, we have had an officer struck by celebratory gunfire right there on the steps of our police headquarters after a Super Bowl win. It can happen anywhere, in any part of our city. Shooting a gun in the air is not a way to celebrate. It's a threat to all parts of our city, all neighborhoods, all people. It's dangerous, it's indiscriminate, it can be fatal, and it's illegal. And with that, Representative Sharp.
Thank you, Police Chief Graves. For the record, State Representative Mark Sharp, District 37 in South Kansas City. The Missouri General Assembly passed this legislation, Blair's Law, a couple of years ago and was signed into law last summer. This was legislation that the Missouri General Assembly took 12 years to pass, and I carried it, and I was a main sponsor of the bill for 5 years. This bill is set in stone to try to curb the gun violence that we have in this city. Reckless gunfire isn't just dangerous, it is deadly. And to reiterate what our prosecutor, Jackson County prosecutor, has said, that we need to utilize our cameras, we need to utilize our home security systems, we need to utilize our cameras on our phones. As community members, we have all the tools that we need to record, turn it in, and try to enforce this new law in our neighborhood. This is the first 4th of July that Blair's Law has been in effect. And I am fully prepared for our city, our police department, and our Jackson County Prosecutor's Office to enforce this law. So please do not do something that is dangerous and deadly. It would be a shame to be in prison over something so senseless. Thank you.
Any questions for you?
Yeah, Ms. Blair, or I don't know, you can be directed to one of three people. I don't expect the councilman to respond, but it's already been illegal
Sure.
in the city limits and in the state of Missouri to just discharge a firearm. Why is this any different than you guys doing regular enforcement?
You want to try that, prosecutor? What makes this different, Blair's laws, compared to what existed before?
Stricter penalties. At first, this was an ordinance that outlawed that type of behavior. Now this is a state law. And frankly, this gives us another opportunity to really have a robust messaging campaign about what is illegal and the consequences that can follow this type of behavior. Laws really don't have much weight as a deterrent if the community is not aware of what consequences can be imposed and what conduct falls under this illegal activity. And so it gives us another actionable tool to try to curb some of this behavior.
So is the state going to, since it is a state law, is the state going to actively, in conjunction with the city, with the municipalities, charge these individuals at a state level?
Well, because it is a state law, then that gives our local prosecutor's office, our state prosecutor's office, the Jackson County prosecutor's office, license to charge these offenses.
Other questions?
Representative Short kind of touched on this, and I'll open this up to anyone. Can somebody just speak to the significance of this being the first 4th of July?
Sure. Sure. Look, I'll note something and then welcome the rest. I think, first of all, it is important to reemphasize what the police chief said, that they will have a crew that is out looking to enforce Blair's Law violations, that reckless gunfire, going place to place, investigating those calls. This is not a low priority for the department. This is something that will be enforced. We encourage people to call 911 if they are hearing that type of shooting, including reckless or so-called celebratory gunfire. So we expect that to be a difference. I think the number of charges that you've had filed both in Jackson County and then Kansas City within Jackson County and our other counties is something that's worth noting too. Police Chief, I believe you said 27 active investigations, 17 charges filed in Jackson and Clay County. I think the Jackson County prosecutor noted a number around that in terms of charges filed throughout Jackson County. So you are seeing real charges filed. You are seeing people call 911 and use this. And unfortunately, I think as the prosecutor noted in her opening, when we have celebrations, be it the 4th of July, the New Year, sports celebrations, and beyond, there are some who look to just shoot up in the air. What we're saying now is not only don't do that, but there are very serious state charges that you get from our state's attorney, our Jackson County, Clay County, or Platte County prosecutor in connection with those violations, and KCPD is out doing the work to make sure it's enforced. Others? All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Change your title. From the state's attorney.